It's the 16th of July 2014. I'm here with Lauren Barnes at McCartan Media and Erica Coutal. We're now going to take a look at taking minutes, because Lauren, I know that you do that quite regularly as part of your role. When you're taking minutes, why is it important to be listening actively?
Well, minutes serve as a record, so if you don't listen actively and pay attention, then the likelihood is your minutes aren't going to be accurate, and they need to be, like, if they get audited or something and it's incorrect, then it's going to reflect badly upon the company. And if anybody goes by those incorrect minutes then and uses them for another task, they might then further damage the reputation of the company if it's not what you're actually wanting to do. So it's very important to make sure that you get them correct as you're doing it.
Can you explain to me how you would actively listen?
So with our minutes, we do like action minutes. So I will listen to the conversation and find the core of the conversation, because obviously there's a lot of discussion that will go into it, but I'll pick out the core bits that are needed. So I won't just record everything that there's been discussed, because there was obviously a lot of back and forth.
Is that, do you do that within the meeting or outside of the meeting?
In the meeting.
Okay.
I'll sit inside the meeting. If I don't understand something as well, I will check and clarify it with either the chairman, or at the end of the discussion I can do like a rerun back through what they've just said to make sure that I've got it right. And then I know obviously that you've got, but you want to make sure you're not getting distracted, so it's handy like being in here because it is a nice enclosed environment. There's not like background noises or anything, so that's useful to obviously make sure you're not getting distracted by things.
Definitely.
And just making sure that you're ready to respond if somebody asks you a question as well, so that you've got everything you need.
Okay, brilliant. So I know I've seen through the work in your portfolio that you take a lot of notes during these discussions.
Yeah.
Can you describe how you take your notes?
Well, as I say, we do action points, so I won't write down everything that we need to have like you would in some types of minutes. I will, as they're going through things, I will make a note of things that I think are important, like the key points, and I will just make sure that it's brief, so I'm not like writing long sentences, so I'm not missing parts of the conversation, and make sure I summarise as well so it's clear and I understand it when I go back to it. And like if anybody else needed to look at my notes, they'd be able to look at them and see and understand what I was writing, and not just making it sort of a bit of nonsense as some can be. I've had some minutes that I've had to write up from someone's notes, and it was not good. I couldn't tell what she was talking about at all from the notes, so that wasn't very convenient for me, obviously. So
how did you approach that problem?
I had to try and first of all go by what else was there. So I just typed up everything as it was, and then went through and read it through again and again to try and make a bit more sense of it. The bits I really couldn't understand, I had to go to the director who actually overlooked that section, so that she could try and clarify it for me, so I could just sort of make it more sensible. Because obviously our minutes do get audited, so they need to be a clear record of what is occurring.
Can you describe different types of minutes and their purpose?
Yeah, so you've got obviously like action points, like I was saying, so they'll record sort of the key points and the discussions, and then anything that needs to be done and actioned, and like if it's actioned by the next meeting and who is going to do that. Have minutes of resolution, which they are a record of any like decisions and like the actual like words of resolution, essentially. There's verbatim or report minutes, which are a record of the entire discussion, so it's word by word. And there is also the narrative minutes, which is a summary of the main discussions and points. So that's sort of your form.
Which one do you commonly use here?
We use the action points, action minutes.
Okay. Can you explain to me the different styles of writing that you might use in minute taking?
It kind of depend on the types of minutes you're doing. So obviously if you're doing like verbatim minutes, then you would be writing everything.
Yeah.
So it would be completely different to like the action points, where we tend to do it, or I tend to do it, so it is like third person essentially.
Yeah.
It's all be like in past tense because obviously the meeting's happened.
Yeah.
And it's more concise with that. So you would avoid using things like slang, like if anybody uses a slang term. So you try to use more professional language because it is, as I say, a record.
Yeah.
And also just making sure that the words the words that you use, like the terminology, is quite simple, so that it's clear to read through and quite concise.
Okay. Can you explain to me how you sort, select, and structure information to produce minutes?
Yeah. When I'm taking notes, I will go through. Like I'll write the titles of each of the sections because we do it by different bullet points. So when I'm typing them up, it will go through as the agenda. So you'll have like the location of the meeting, who attended, what time it started, and then you just work through each of the sections. So like if there are any apologies, and then the different reports. So I'll do it. What was discussed, and then at the end of each section, any action points or notes that they need to be carried on to the next meeting.
Okay.
And I'll work my way through, and then at the end bit there's like a section for any other business, so it just opens it to the rest of the directors so they can just get anything else out. And then there'll be like the date of the next meeting and the time of the meeting closed, and at the end the director signs it off. So it's sort of the general layout. Obviously you have to tweak it sometimes if like reports are done in a different way to the agenda, then I would just move it around so that it does reflect that in the minutes, so it is as it happened in the meeting.
Okay. And then finally, can you explain what's meant by using the correct tone and professional language in minutes?
Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying earlier about not using slang and using like the correct, like a professional tone through the thing, so you use the right terminology and stuff. So you would say like the board discussed, and use that kind of language really, so it is clear and neutral, I suppose, so it's not like biased in any way or one-sided, or like if there was sort of a bit of a disagreement between some of the people, you wouldn't write that they argued, you would write, there was different opinions over the subject sort of thing, so just making it look professional really.
Okay, thank you.